Hi, Otgon. What do you think? Should I start? Even if it's just for the sake of timing, and then we're recording it and we'll see? Yeah, perfect. So let me just put my screen on.
Perfect.
Can you see everything?
I can see the Winter Ready webinar. Perfect. And then I think
Perfect.
people will just hop in throughout one.
Absolutely.
So I think for sake of time, let's just start. And then for those who missed it, or for those, they can always watch it during their free time as well. So yeah.
Absolutely, not a problem at all. So as many of you know, my name is Ilaria PV, and I don't know if Sachin is back in line, or maybe she will join us later, but we do have a co-presenter today, so she's going to give some advice about winter and what's going on. So my title, as many of you know, is the Housing and Arrival Coordinator. So you probably know me because I've helped you coming to Canada, and today we have something that is completely different, talking about the winter. So those of you who have joined, of course, you are on muted. Your microphone is muted, and you can always ask some questions in the chat. And in fact, if you join, even if you join a little bit later, I would really love you to make great use of the chat, because we have a couple of quizzes as well. Presentation is being recorded. We will share the recording with you. And if you have any further questions, please contact me at housing@nscc.ca. I would like to welcome all of you in this session from Turtle Island, which is also known as Canada, and letting you know that I'm speaking from Mi'kma'ki, which is the unceded territory and ancestral homeland of the Mi'kmaq Nation. In opening this presentation, I'm reminded to be guided by a spirit of welcome and connection to the land and its people. And it is with the spirit of welcome and gratitude that we gather today to learn more about our beautiful winter. I still think that winter can be absolutely beautiful. And for those of you that want to learn more about the Mi'kmaq Nation and rich culture, when you receive the slides of the presentation, please click on the link and you will be guided through quite a few resources. What are we going to learn today? I would say three things. Some practical advice to get dressed in a way that keeps you warm and happy, because there's nothing more frustrating on earth than being cold when you're leaving in the morning and you have to wait to come back home to be not to feel cold. How to make the most of the season, because I know that many students are very scared about the winter in general and just don't see anything positive about it. And then some peer advice, so how to survive in the winter. As I said, I think it's winter can be a really wonderful season. I don't know if you can see all the three pictures. I hope you can. The first and throughout the presentation, I have to say I've taken many pictures, just because I really like all seasons, and I like to take pictures anyways. So you see on the first picture you see on the left is a bench fully covered in snow. Absolutely covered in snow. It was Point Pleasant Park. This is just to give you an idea of when we have heavy storms or snowfalls, the amount of snow that we can get. The second picture, I don't know if there's any of you here that is attending the the IT campus, was from a tree that was completely frozen in what happened very close to the IT campus. What happened is that when you get some rain, obviously the rain stays on the plant, but then if the temperature drops and it freezes, it's like a movie. If you've seen Frozen the movie, that's how it looks like. Like all the trees were absolutely frozen. They were beautiful. The third picture is that of a pine that has some sort of icicles there. So winter can be really wonderful. This is something, another picture to let you know about the beauty of the place. Is very close to where I live now, and it's I go to a local beach, and what happens is that you have the tide when it's low tide, so the water is getting away, but they can't really. So the surface would be frozen, but because the water is moving away because of low tide, you're left with this massive icicles, sort of like this amount of ice on the shores, and I think it's really wonderful. I don't know how many people, because I can only see my screen, so I can't really see how many people are joining the chat, but this is supposed to be a quiz. So if we have more than just whoever, like please use the chat to put the correct answer. So what do you think is going to happen on Sunday, November 7th? Letter A, daylight saving ends on that day at 2 a.m. B, it's Halloween. C, it's a public holiday and we don't go to school. D, nothing at all happens.
I will read out what they're typing.
Yes.
We have A coming from Daphne, A from Jane, A from Rodrigo. Welcome, guys. A from Patricia. Wow. I thought it's something else. Isabel saying A. Yeah, people are saying A's.
Nice. So you guys are well prepared, and yes, so daylight saving ends. So if this is something that maybe has never happened to you when where you lived before, it's good to know, because people, you will have a week when you're going through something like it's almost like an internal time zone. Like you're hungry where you're not supposed to be hungry. You're very confused for the first couple of days because the daylight changes. And so what happens basically is that at 2 a.m. on that day, the clock goes back to 1 a.m. So of the two pictures that you see, please follow the second one full. The clock turns back. So the nice thing is that you get to sleep a little bit, like an hour more, because you're springing back. And when you wake up at 6:30, for example, your clock indicates 6:30, but you're getting the light that you would get at 7:30. So you're waking up for a couple of weeks at least with more light in the morning, which is really lovely. However, on the flip side, at 5:30, the sky is dark because your clock indicates it's 5:30, but the light that you get is the one that you get at 6:30. So this is when you feel like your days are getting shorter. The days are always 24 hours, but you feel like the light is gone. You get more light in the morning, but the days are getting shorter. So a bit of changes, and then it gets only worse and worse because, of course, December is the month of the year. I think is the 22nd of December where the days are the shortest, and I think by 4 p.m. you won't have any daylight, and the sun rises at, I would say, 8:30, almost 9 in the morning. So you have really short days. It's really the opposite of June. If you were here in June, when you have really long days. Second quiz. In what situation you're more likely to feel colder? Let's see, two scenarios. You're in Halifax, so Nova Scotia. It's a humid day. It's -5 outside and the wind temperature is -15. Or you are in Ottawa, Ontario. It's a great sunny day. It's -15 outside and there's almost no wind. B. When do you think you're more likely to feel colder?
So Halifax is A and Ottawa is B, you guys. So
yes.
A or B. Okay,
yes.
We're having A from Daphne. People are typing. Rodrigo says A. Jane says A. Jane is A. Rodrigo. Patricia said A. People are typing. Isabel saying A.
Oh, good.
Lots of A's.
Lots of A's, and I think you will be right, okay? Because even if I'm saying that it's a great sunny day in Ottawa and it's -15, what you have is that you have humidity and wind in Halifax. So my takeaway from this is that you need to learn the weather forecast. You don't need to be super skilled. Nobody really knows, but you see the 3 hours that I've put there. Actually, this would have been a picture from October 6th in 2011 in Halifax. So this was like historical current weather, except that today is a fantastic day with lots of sunlight and it's kind of warm. We usually use Celsius degrees, so you would see back in the days we would have had 4 degrees. However, you feel like you have some humidity, 70% humidity. So quite a bit humid day on that day, and you had a windy day with 31 kilometers per hour with wind gusts. So you have your normal wind, and then all of a sudden you have this wind blowing of 56 kilometers. So the wind, the humidity, everything, it means that you're feeling like -1. So this is still okay, but you need to pay attention when it's winter and it's maybe +3 degrees, but the wind is -15 and you feel like -15 or 16. Okay, so still, even here you will be feeling 6 degrees colder than what it actually looks like. But especially in days like February, January, don't just trust the fact that it's really sunny or nice outside. Always look for the feel like in the weather forecast. And we also have some microclimates within Nova Scotia as well. Do you guys mind putting in the chat where are your campuses? Like, is some of you maybe studying in the Valley, for example? Okay, Breton. Yeah.
We have Ivany from Isabel
Okay.
from Ivany. Jane is a wonderful student from eCampus.
Yeah.
Pictou County, Pictou from Daphne. Me from Truro.
Yeah. Okay.
And
so,
our others are typing. And we have Kingstick. Our Carmina is from Kingstick. Patricia, I think you're at Kingstick or Ivany? Oh, Marconi. Patricia at Marconi.
Okay. So microclimates within Nova Scotia mean that Cape Breton receives more snow and the valley usually receives more snow as well. I'm so jealous because they're really, really low snow. I live very close to the coast, so what we get is more snow and it's rain and humidity, and usually it's 5 to 8 degrees colder than Halifax just because of the wind and humidity that we get. So within Nova Scotia, there's a little bit of room for different weather. My last quiz for the day, and then I go on with my demo, and I fingers crossed everything goes okay. Great. When it's cold outside, do you think it's better to have one big, thick, very warm jacket? Answer A. Or when it's cold outside, is it better to dress in layers, like sort of like an onion? If you know, an onion has different skins, so layers. Number B. Whatever you think
so we have
is the
Rodrigo
best.
saying B, Cremina B, Daphne B, Jane is saying B, and Isabel is saying B, Patricia is saying B, we have Mario saying B as well.
Perfect. Perfect. So you guys know everything. Perfect.
I would
It's
just
good.
go for A,
It's good.
just to
It's
have it
good. It's
variety.
good.
Awesome.
No, it's good. B is perfect. So in Nova Scotia, I think really the enemy that you need to know, number one enemy is the wind. Okay, so you see that I found this picture, and this is actually for a person who's going out hiking, and you don't have to go out hiking. This is just to show you the different layers. So you want to have something basically three, let's say 3 or 4. Something is very close to your skin, the base, snug, not too tight. The goal is that you're trapping heat. Your body is giving you some heat, and instead of having one big jacket that then you're moving and the air is going out from all directions, it's snug and it's close to your body. And then you have a second layer, again to help you trap in the heat, and then you have the third layer, which is really the outer shell. So should be waterproof, the windbreaker. It's basically the material that gets all the elements. Because you will notice we have quite a lot of wind and rain and snow, so having umbrellas or other stuff doesn't really help you. Also, as I said, check the wind, okay, and how fast the wind is blowing, but also try to find all other ways to trap the wind, like your neck. If you don't put a scarf or turtleneck sweater, you will have wind coming in and heat going out. Warm hat, put a hat on. Have really warm socks and boots. Hands, have warm mittens and gloves. Like can you see my camera as well? Can you see me as I speak? Perfect, because I can't see myself, so I'm just wondering. So a glove is something that will cover like all your hands, while a mitten is basically where your 4 fingers are together, and then this will be the shape of a mitten. So if you have Raynaud disease, meaning that your hands, nose and feet get really cold, mittens might be a better solution. It's not a disease that is dangerous, it's just very annoying because you're constantly cold. So if you happen to feel that for the first time in your life, because you grew up in a country that was a lot more warmer, and you're always like with your nose, hands and feet very cold, maybe talk to a doctor. You might have this. Not dangerous, but just annoying. It has to do with your circulation. So I am attempting to do a live demonstration. I can't see myself, so if I do something very weird, you will let me know. So what I I just want you guys, and when you just to learn a few tricks, maybe when you buy your like jackets or anything. As I said, really don't buy any umbrellas because they break. Even when they're supposed to be fantastic umbrellas, I would say use them just when there's no wind and you have nice rain coming down in one direction, but most of the times you will just break them. So what you really want to invest your money in, even if you didn't have to spend a lot, and I have a couple of links to show you where you can save money, but what you want is a waterproof jacket. So what's waterproof? I just want to show you. Do you see it? Like my jacket?
Yes, I do. Can you maybe unshare your screen and then we can see the full you? That would help.
Sure. Let me just see. Can you see the full
Perfect.
me?
Yes. I can
Perfect.
see
Oh,
full
nice.
you.
Excellent. Yes. So this is the jacket. Okay. So I just want to show you that if I pour some water, what you should see is that you see how it rolls away?
Yeah.
I'm doing my best. My floor is becoming wet. But anyway, so this is the idea of something is waterproof. So when you have some rain hitting your jacket that is waterproof, it will go away and doesn't really stay with you. So this is one thing. So when you're buying something, ask, do you have anything is waterproof for the winter here? This is one thing. The second is that you want to buy maybe a jacket that has double layers, and so you can use both layers. So I decided to buy like this jacket, and I have 2 layers, and when it's very cold I separate this really warm layer and I put it on the other jacket, and then this is basically my windbreaker. Really old. I think I bought it in 2013 and I'm still using it. So if you buy something is good quality, if you intend to use it for a few years, it will be really helpful. Same stuff. So when the rain goes there, let's imagine this is rain, you see it's not staying, not even one drop go away. Nothing is on the jacket. So this is how you know that it is waterproof. Have something to cover your backpack. This is really important. So it can be very cheap. It's just a piece of sort of plastic that you put on top of your backpack. And so when it rains, and if you squeeze it all together, sorry for the noise, it's just going to be super tiny. So you just have it with you. Snow pants. I don't think that you really need to go around with snow pants. But sometimes, like if it's very cold and like me, I use the public transit or I just walk, I get dressed and then I just put something on. So same stuff, waterproof. You can find them very cheap. I will give you a link where you can buy them, and they are quite large. So usually you get to get dressed and then you can just put on all your stuff. Okay. One thing I wanted to show you is how to get good winter boots. Okay. These are good boots because you see that they have they're all waterproof, like all the plastic here. Like this is sort of like plush, and I don't mind them being here because this is where you can be really warm, but it shouldn't be like hug boots or something. Shouldn't be. They're not really good for walking, because then if it's damp and rainy and snowing and slushy, it will be your feet will get really wet soon. What you also want to check is that they are that they are glued, or that they have like sort of like stitches or something, and you see how it's not flat. This will have a good grip when you're walking on ice, because ice will also be a bit of a problem. Okay, so I think this will be it in terms of the stuff I wanted to show you. I'm going to get back to the presentation. Hopefully I can retrieve it.
Yes. And then questions are in the chat, like where can I boots like that? And then where should we buy winter jacket and windbreakers, stuff like that.
Oh yes, absolutely. Can you see my screen back?
Yes.
Perfect. Also, just wanted to say, when you're walking and it's getting really dark, have something that sort of like something that a jacket or something to be seen. Also want to show you, like sometimes you forget, and then why don't you just use your phone with the flash light or the torch on, and then you just point it towards you, especially if you're walking and you have to cross a road that is very dark, just for safety purposes. Here is where you can buy, or it's a list of affordable winter clothing stores in Nova Scotia. So when you just have to click on this link, I'm not going to do it, but you just click on this link and you will find lots of places. I would say Value Village, thrift stores of all sorts. That could be Salvation Army as well, but also look on deals and saves. Like Black Friday is going to be in November 26th, and so what happens there, almost everything is like half the price. So you can ask your friends, or you could buy online. And I would say if you can hold on with what you have, not to be cold until November 26th, that's when you really want to invest in your like stuff that costs you money. If you're buying secondhand, you should be able to find jackets from maybe $100 to up to $150. Hat and mittens are definitely a lot cheaper, like $10. With Value Village, you should be able to find them all the way up to 50 if you want something really, really nice, but you don't have to. Boots are expensive, just like jackets. You could find from like 60 to up to 200 or so on. So I remember buying a couple of, it wasn't this, but it was really nice boots from Canadian Tire, and nice in the sense that they were functional. They weren't really nice, like good looking, but they did the trick. And it was a winter where I didn't want to spend a lot of money, and they kept my feet really warm. So there are some options there as well. I'm showing you some pictures. I sometimes take them for my family because I find it's really funny. They live in a place where it's never really this cold, and sometimes I take pictures just to show them how I have to get dressed. So the first picture that you see there, it was probably the coldest day that we had, and it's not always like that at all, but it was a perceived temperature over -21. So it was incredibly cold. It was last year. And because I live close to the ocean, the wind was brutal that day. So I put on all my layers, and you see my neck is really large because I'm using so many. I had a really big scarf. I had all my jackets, so my layers. I had a mask that I used for skiing, and I had even 2 hats. And you can see, so this is the idea of the layers, and you can see on the other picture that my eyelashes and eyebrows were starting to freeze. So it was very cold, but it's not always -20. So don't be scared. It's just the extreme, so to say, just to show you. A quick word about frostbite. It can be dangerous. Don't be like me in this picture. I had left to do some snowshoeing, and when I came home, I realized my face was really, really red and cold and almost numb. So frostbite, if you're getting exposed with your skin, you see I'm not wearing a scarf, I'm not wearing a mask. I don't know what I was thinking that day. I just left the house for a walk and I wasn't really prepared. And so, but if you were to be exposed to really harsh winds for 20, 30 minutes, sometimes even less, you could get frostbite and then need medical advice. So just treat your skin with respect. Just be sure that you're getting some, protection and cover yourself. Again, a weird picture. I was showing my parents. I'm just saying I need to do a quick. I think I needed to do a quick errand, and I just I was putting on my snow pants, as you can see, or my pajamas. So it's the same idea of layers. Sometimes you can't leave the house fully dressed to go to work, just putting on all your layers, like snow pants or something like this. The other enemy I'd like to talk to you about is the black ice. Okay, so I've spoken a lot about the wind, and the black ice is something I really didn't know. Many people don't know because it's something that you can't really see. I showed you in the first picture that you can see it, and sometimes the ice and is really thick and it's white and it's shiny and you can recognize it's ice. This one is different. It's a thin coat of highly transparent ice. It usually happens when during the day you have some nice warm temperatures, so you get some maybe snow is melting or rain or something, and then all of a sudden the temperature freezes, and so you have it becomes very slippery. It's like a film, almost like really a tiny coat, and you need to be careful if you're walking or if you're driving. So my best advice when you're walking, I'd say put one foot, and then when you feel like you're steady enough to proceed with the other, step on. So if you usually over the summer, you can walk very fast to go to college, in 10 minutes you're there. If you're still walking in the winter time, I would say maybe account for 20 minutes I would say double, or you risk really to fall and get hurt. Enough with the scary stuff and the clothing and everything. Have fun in the winter. Try to embrace all the beautiful things about winter. Have some fun, for example, in the snow. Start easy. You know, maybe you don't really want to put all your winter gear and do stuff like this. It was a snow angel and I was really enjoying myself, but maybe you can just go around and walk around the block. Maybe you find a local park that you just want to admire the trees or something like this, or maybe you do want to play in the snow, not just the children, but you can play with them if you have children. If you don't, you can still play like a child, I would say. Try maybe some sledging or some tobogganing. I really struggle to read this word, but it's basically a sledge, I'd say, that you can use. This one was super cheap. I think it was $5 or $10 at Canadian Tire, made in plastic. You could even use a plastic bag, but then just be careful that you're disposing of it correctly because you don't want to let it fly away. And if it gets, if it breaks or gets ripped, then you can't really use it again. So maybe it's not the best solution, but if you can buy this, it's basically a long piece of plastic that you just sit on and slides. And it's so much fun. Again, there are so many places in the, what's it called, Citadel Hill, for example, or any sort of hill. This was at Point Pleasant Park, so you don't really need big hills to have fun and sledge a bit. You could also use some snowshoes. Let me see if I can show you without exiting the screen. I do think it's... Can you still see it, Otgon, without me exiting the screen?
Yes, I can still see.
Perfect. And you can see it on the picture as well. You don't need to buy them. Thankfully, you can rent them for free. Many local community centers will have them. So no particular skills to learn. You just put your feet there and you just walk. You walk a little bit funny. You walk a little bit slowly. You do feel like you have something on your feet, but it's a fantastic experience. This was, I think it was in Dartmouth. It was at the Shuby Park. Any park could be accessible in that sense. Or you could also rent some ice skaters and you could ice skate. Okay, so again, ice skaters like this. You could rent them for free. If you guys are studying or living close to the in Halifax or in Dartmouth, you can get them at the Over for free. This picture wasn't taken at the Over, but community recreation centers, a lot of indoor ice skating rinks as well, where you can just present your document and you get the skates for free, really. Or you could even buy them if you ever wanted, but you don't have to. So lots of opportunities to, I would say, to really to have fun. So that's it. I'm just going to unshare my screen so we can see if Jeannie is back and if she has any suggestions about how her first winter was. I have a question for you. If nobody has other questions, but I couldn't see the chat. But after you explain about your experience as a student, going through your first winter, I'm going to think about how did you cope with the change of hours? But this is just my question for later. So maybe share your experience first.
Yeah, it was actually really hard because I'm from Sri Lanka and it's like now it's 12:30 and it's about 8:30 o'clock at night today in Sri Lanka. So it was a very big change and it was really hard. And the first week it was totally interrupting my sleeping schedule and I almost slept in the daytime, but little by little I gradually changed my sleep schedule, and so I would say we will have to always try to have at least 8 hours sleep. And so I used the sleeping app in the phone to schedule what time do I have to go to sleep and to know what time do I have to wake up to go to school in the morning. So that helps me a lot. And yeah, the basic thing about adjusting to the time change.
And how did you cope with the cold? Like in Sri Lanka, I imagine is not
Yeah,
cold
it's a
country.
tropical country.
So how did you was it the first time you saw the snow in
Yes.
Canada, or had you seen it?
No, it
Do
was
you
my
remember? Do you remember that moment? How was it?
Yeah, it was like amazing. First I thought from pictures like the snow would be like ice cream, and I want to touch and the feel. So yeah, it was an amazing experience, and I love the snow and with Christmas, with decorations. It's like amazing. So if you like get dressed up and ready, you can feel you can feel the winter very well.
Yes, yes, and there's nothing worse, I'd say, than not being prepared, and then you're always cold, and when you're cold, you can't really enjoy anything. So,
Yes.
I would say there were people that were asking about some winter clothing, and my best advice, and I don't know how about you, but I really, even now, but even more so when I was a student, I didn't want to spend a lot of money in clothing.
Yeah.
Even now. So I've always gone to places like Value Village, thrift stores, that could be Salvation Army. You can find excellent quality clothing.
Yeah.
They're just not sometimes even brand. But any suggestion about where did you buy your clothes? Where do you buy them?
Yeah. So you don't have to go for, I would say, the branded ones as the students. And like if it's your first snow experience, just I would suggest just go with second hand ones. And if you can really afford them, you can buy the branded ones. And I would suggest like for the snow hats and thermal socks and mittens and gloves, you could try the Dollarama, the dollar store, because they have those winter clothing for very cheap prices. The maximum price is like $4. So I work in Dollarama as a part-time employee. So yeah, I usually buy from there, like the basic things like the thermal socks, mittens, gloves, and winter hats, and neck warmers, and the scarves if you want. You could try Dollarama, and the other one is the Value Village, and we have a Value Village near our campus in Dartmouth. And the other one is I think, in the Clayton Park. Uh, so Value Village is another option, and the thrift store. So you can find second-hand clothes, but sometimes very new clothing as well in the thrift store. So yeah, those are the better options for second-hand clothing.
Yeah, and I would say even just start early, because sometimes you go to Valley Village and then you have some. I'm just thinking about Valley Village, but any shop that isn't a shop, so sometimes you get what you get, and so I wouldn't wait until maybe January when
Yeah.
it's a horrible day, ice is slippery, and
Yeah.
it takes you so long. So, other two things I would say. One before I forget, like and then I will ask you about public transit. So
Yeah.
my other piece of advice would be that the wind can be so strong sometimes
Yeah.
that it really dries your skin. So put some moisturizer, like put anything that you can, especially if you're walking. Like if you're driving, not so much, but if you're walking, you will find that by the time you go to campus, your skin is super irritated. So this is one thing. And the second, you did an amazing webinar with me about public transit, and you take the bus.
Yeah.
So what are the survival skills the students should know when they take the bus in the winter?
Like, yes, it's like difficult, not like in during the summer or fall. So first thing is you should get dressed up properly. And so because of snow, the buses may take like detours, and they have snow plans, and sometimes the buses may even get late more than 10 to 15 minutes. So I would suggest leaving your home early to reach to the college, and use the transit app always, so you can check what time you should leave from your home to reach to the college. And it's okay if you can wait where do we have the covered bus stops, but in some bus stops we don't have like a shelter, so it's really hard to stand outside during the snow time. And you should always wear your snow boots, otherwise you will fall. I had an experience during my first winter, I guess. I fell down in, I think it was black ice. And yeah, so I was crying.
It always is. You
Yes,
see, what's that shiny thing? Bam! And it's
yes.
yeah.
You don't have even a second to think. You're on the floor, on the ground, actually. Yeah. So and you actually so not only you but your body is also getting changed to the, like, getting ready to the season changing. And like when it comes to me, I come from a tropical country, and when I came over here and when it was my first winter, my skin got like wrinkles, I guess, and the hands got really dried. So I had to use moisturizer, and there were cracks in my lips and in the like foot. So I I would say you can buy a lip balm from a moisturizer cream from the drugstore, maybe Shoppers or Lawton's, from a drugstore, and keep it in your backpack so you can use it very often. I do it now as well. Yeah, and the other thing is in the bus. So all the people get in the bus with snow, and when it melts, it's really slippery. So you have to watch your step, and watch your step when you go inside the bus and when you get down. And after snow days, sometimes the sidewalks sometimes they might be cleared over the night, but we go to college early in the morning, for, let's say, for the 8:30 lecture. So the sidewalks may be still filled with snow, so you can walk through them only if you are wearing a snow boot. Otherwise, you can't walk them because the snow will go into your shoes and they get wet. So, and you might even fall. So, yeah, the best thing is you leave the home early, use transit app, and get to know what time you should leave from home. So you can get to the college on time.
Yes, yeah, absolutely. I remember when I was living somewhere in Halifax, and usually it would take me 20 minutes to go to work, and one day it took me 45 minutes because the
Yeah.
road was pure ice. It was like ice skating, and I was walking as if I was like 150 years old, just really to try to keep my balance because you don't want to fall. You could really hurt yourself. So leave the house early.
Cancel their routes, and
Yes.
we have to wait for like hours. But if it's really snowing, like, I guess the school is giving a
Yes.
permission.
Absolutely,
Yes.
yes. So when
Yeah,
we know that there's a snow
storm.
storm warning or something, we will cancel classes. So you will receive an email and so on. So it's
Yeah.
mostly when you don't know. Otgon, you have a question
Yeah.
or
I'm just gonna make sure that people's questions are answered. So starting from the top, Isabel's asking, you showed a boots. Where can I
yes.
buy those boots? Where did you buy them?
So I bought them at MEC. I have to say they were expensive. You don't have to buy something like this. I wanted to invest in money in a pair of boots that will last me for 5 years, 10. I spent a lot of money in them. They were really excellent. However, I found some very similar at Canadian Tire that were not maybe this nice, but would have absolutely done the trick. So Canadian Tire is also a good place where you can buy. There's a section of boots. They're not super nice looking, but if you don't care, you can get amazing good quality stuff because it's boots that people use even to go hunting, so they don't want to be cold.
Yeah.
So and those you will get for maybe cheaper, as cheap as maybe $50. still good boots. So
Yeah.
mech was my thing. I really wanted to. I'm disclosing because you asked, but you didn't have to get that.
Yeah, and then we just went over like the Dollarama Valley Village and thrift store
Yes.
where you can find. So that's great. So Rodrigo is asking, how can I know if clothes are really good for protect us from the cold? Some clothes have label informing like it's -20, -30, but sometimes that is like there's no information. How do we know?
Right. I'd say if you're buying in a shop, like it could be, again, I hike everywhere and so on. So I decided to opt for shops. Then you can ask the shop assistant because you're also paying so much money that you really want to know what you're buying. If you're buying maybe at Valley Village or so on, try to read the label. And if the label is not there, try to touch to see. I don't know if you can. You wouldn't be able to see, but does it look like it's waterproof, or is it just like a warm coat? That wouldn't be okay. Like a coat is not a rain jacket. Here in Nova Scotia is rain and wet snow what you're going to get. So if you're buying something that is like looks like it's clothing, that's not really good. Not for the winter. Not winter coats. You need to have something that's waterproof. Without the labels, you wouldn't know. But maybe try it on. How does it feel? Is it comfy? Is it does it feel warm? Sakini, do you have any advice on this or?
Yeah, it's you can get to know only by wearing it, I guess. So yeah, well, first go for like cheaper ones, and when you wear those and walk in the winter, you will get to know whether it's good for you, or do you need more warmer jackets. So next time you can purchase a better one.
Yes, and I
That
would
is a
say
great
if you're
idea.
if you're not entirely sure what you're buying, don't spend $300 in something you're not sure.
Exactly.
Like maybe it's like a $50 at Valley Village that it already hurts if it doesn't work, but it's not 300. So I would say, but really try. How does it look like? Is it something that people were using to go snowboarding? Perhaps that would be a good jacket, like skiing, snowboarding. Or is it more like casual? That wouldn't be really good if you are a pedestrian and you walk around.
Thank you, guys. Daphne is asking, what are a few key items for your wardrobe in Nova Scotia climate? I don't know I don't have any autumn winter basics, so I'm trying to figure out where to start.
Would you like to answer? Maybe as a student, what do you think?
Yeah, so actually, for winter, you would buy sweaters, and you can buy brand new ones, but to a cheap price. I have bought from H&M, I guess, and the Old Navy. So you can buy some of the sweaters. You can wear them during the autumn and the winter when you are indoors, and when you are inside the school, I guess. And the other thing is the basic stuff like the jackets and the mittens, gloves, neck warmer. I think neck warmer would be very useful.
Yes.
Yeah, when you are walking outside. And what else? I told you like a moisturizer and lip balm. So maybe a foot care cream if your feet is cracking. And that's like all I can think about.
Yeah.
I misspelled Canadian, sorry, but anyways, Canadian tie as well. But I'm also thinking about long johns, or I don't know if you guys wear them. Sometimes when it's really cold, like I have some pants that I usually use in the office, and they would not be okay for -20. Sometimes I just or even -10, and sometimes I don't want to put the snow pants on. So there could be even two leggings. You don't have to go buying high-tech stuff. Even to a pair of leggings is something that you're having like tights, so having double layers on your legs as well. But you're right, socks, like maybe sometimes even double pair of socks. You don't want to block your feet with poor circulation, but you want to have something is really warm.
You can
Neck
buy cheaper thermal socks from the dollar store, Dollarama.
Yes, yeah.
It's only $4, but it's very warm when you wear.
Yes, perfect. And also sometimes I have a like this becomes my you don't see like this is just for for days like today, but in the winter if you're putting on another sweater underneath and you put it on, this becomes your winter sweater for the same cost. So you buy something that you can also combine in layers. There's not maybe too tight, so you're spending less money and you're still all covered.
There's another question from Rodrigo. Where can we can snowboard and go skiing around HRIM?
Oh, okay. So if you get some rentals for very cheap, so you have to do a bit of investigation. If you buy some skis like cross-country skis from Kijiji, you can buy them for very cheap. Sometimes you have to be lucky and do your investigation, but then you could even cross-country ski at Point Pleasant Park. You have to have a good snow, and you can ski pretty much everywhere. However, to do proper skiing and snowboarding, there are two places. One is Martok and one is Wentworth. I can type them there. Just need to find the right spelling. Wentworth is a little bit further away, and Martok is a little bit closer. It is a bit expensive though, and it depends where you've skied before because you need to pay for the gear, the ski pass. So do your research. If you want to go, make sure that at least is a lovely day where you can stay from morning to evening, or it's a lot of money that you're going to spend. But snowshoeing, ice skating won't cost you almost anything. You can rent the gear for free.
And I remember you said that you find snowshoeing renting place, and is that the same place or no?
You should ask your community center. Like I know here in Eastern Passage there's a community center, and they have some snowshoes, or Halifax or places like your community center. Sometimes even local shops will rent them for very cheap, just for a couple of hours, and it's a lovely way to do something different. Ice skating, I know they're free at the OVA.
That's great to know that there's.
Have you ever used it?
No.
No, even I haven't tried.
Don't be scared if you've never tried ice skating, because last year with COVID you had to book. It was a lot more complicated. Maybe this year is not going to be so complicated. If you've never ice skated before, they will give you a chair. Like it's a plastic chair that you can not a chair, like it's a proper chair. You could hold on to it and you can push. So you don't, because sometimes being an adult you don't want to. It looks very dangerous. You're not a child. If you fall, you just get hurt, but if you get this water plastic chair that you push, you have fun, and there's a lot of people doing that, so you will not be the only one. Super fun.
So then just to summarize, since time has been running out, so
yes.
If anybody wants to buy, then they can go to Valley Village or Thrift Store or Dollarama or cheaper places to buy, and then they can go to MEC or Canadian Tires for if they want to go with the brand. But be careful with the black sheet of ice, and make sure you relayer. And then there's a Wentworth and Martok for skiing and snowboarding, and then you can go skating for free at the Oval. Okay, can you speakers give us one last tip for newly arrived students trying to experience the winter, and then I'll do lucky draw and wrap it up, and so people can have lunch and close up the meeting. Thank you.
My best tip would be on sunny days, it doesn't matter how cold it is, make an effort to leave the house, even if it's for 5-10 minutes, going around the block and coming back, because you're going to have dark days from November to, let's say, end of February. It's a long stretch.
It's dark around 4:30 to 5, and you won't be able to feel the environment, get to see the environment. So, yep.
It's a long stretch, it's long months, so make the most of what you can. And then there will be again spring and summer, but just don't, try to get out a little bit if you can. Enjoy the winter.
And Sachini?
Yes. So hope you guys will be comfortable during the winter with the tips we gave. So for first time, for those who are experiencing the first winter, you would have like a bit of a hard time because your body is also getting used to the season changes. And if you are from a tropical country like me, it's a bit hard for you, but not to worry. You will get used to it over time. The best thing is to be prepared always. Like when you go out, make sure to wear properly your clothing, neck warmers, and the mittens, gloves, and everything. So you will be protected, and use the transit app for buses. So it will show you even if a bus cancel their route, or if it's like going on a detour or on a snow plan. So you won't have to waste your time in the bus stop in the cold winter. Yeah.
This is fantastic, you guys. Thank you so much for the awesome advices and tips. And then, we are all of us trying to experience this winter together. So we'll let you know. We probably have questions. And so is it okay if we have questions about winter and if we contact Ilaria or Sachini?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Okay, if you put your contact email there, then students who may also have questions can ask you. Thank you, guys. I'm just gonna quickly share my screen and do a lucky draw. We have today. I just these are the long johns I was just looking at. So I think this is a great idea. I love to layer my legs because it's so cold. So anyway,
They're
long
the
johns.
best.
They're the best.
The best.
I just downloaded the attendance sheet just now, and these are the names. So today we have $10 Tim Hortons gift card for coffee, and then $50 Irving card for the gas. So once you do win, I'll email you to ask your Canadian address, blah, blah, blah. And then you'll just email us. And then my boss, Ashley, mails it to you. And then it will be delivered like maybe in a week or two. So yes, so be lucky. Kremena, yay, you are the winner. I'm just gonna congratulations, print screen. And then last advice and things, and then we can close the meeting.
Not so sure I have anything more to add. Just say, don't spend a lot of money. Just start your research early. Like, you will be surprised by the amount of amazing quality stuff you find in thrift stores. Sometimes it's even branded, almost brand new, just because people maybe got the wrong size. Maybe it was a sale, they couldn't return it. They're cleaning their wardrobes. So don't, unless it's really something that you want to do and you want to go to a shop and it's your choice, you really don't have to. Start looking, even now, like these are fantastic, good sunny days to go outside, take the bus, to be prepared for those days when things will not be like this. So start your search early. That's it.
You're muted, Sachini.
Oh, one more thing to add. So you guys might be wondering whether you can still buy the fresh foods and groceries as you did in summer. Not to worry about that. Even if it's winter, it doesn't matter. You can still get fresh food and groceries from the supermarkets as you did in the summer. Yep.
Thank you so much, you guys, and thank you for everyone who attended. And then I'm gonna stop the recording and have a good lunch and have a good rest of the day and stay warm. I will talk to you guys later. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.